What if the American dream isn't just a story from the past, but a blueprint for your future? Imagine turning your bold idea into a thriving business right here in our community. That's the spark we're igniting today. Welcome to the American Dream Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Herald, and today we're going to be talking about the 4 stages of business ownership. Good afternoon, I'm Tom Herald from the Small Business Development Center at Clark University. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 stages of business ownership. We've broken it down into 4 phases to help people understand from a startup all the way through the entire life cycle of the business to the exit planning stage. We want to be able to understand that there are 4 distinct cycles in this business. And we want to look at it as a roadmap or a journey. On that journey, we grow as leaders as we operate our business. And that map has a very similar path from very different businesses. Every business has 4 distinct phases to it. And in this, as I talk about the 4 stages of business ownership, I want to talk about the key characteristics of each of those stages, some of the challenges that each one face, and what we're trying to do as a business owner in each one of those phases to get to the next level. My goal for you is to have actionable takeaways as you're thinking of this that you can pull and apply to your scenario in your particular business. And I want to have some calls to action in it as well. But there is something that as we go with all of our training sessions, the training session is each one of them are designed to help you learn, and we want it to be somewhat informal. So if you have questions from this presentation or any other that we have, please email us, call us, or message us, and we'll try to address it in a later episode. Stage 1, we call that the founder stage, the entrepreneur. The way I like to look at that is sort of like graduating from college. You're fresh, you have your whole future ahead of you. You don't know what it's going to entail, but you have a lot of ideas. And in that founder stage, you want to be able to do the best you can as far as preparing have a very exciting future for yourself and be able to get things going. The driving force is your why. I like to work on this when I have clients coming in. I really want to understand their why. Simon Sinek he's known as the why guy, but he likes this phrase and I like it too. He uses it often. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. He's known as the why guy. But I want to know what that motivation is. Why do you choose this avenue, this industry to be in business? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? I need to understand that so I can get excited and have a similar type of passion as you do with your business. But it's just like with many new college graduates. With your business, you're wearing all the hats: accounting, finance, economics, marketing. You're putting all that together to try to have a good understanding of what your business is about. You don't have too many people to delegate to. You don't have too many people to share the burdens and the responsibilities. You're there trying to understand what your market's like. You're there trying to understand what you can do in the business and putting it all together in a formula that's there. We call this the honeymoon phase. People, product, process, and promotion. You're trying to balance all that together. You don't have a staff yet, so you're still working on the people equation. The product, you're still understanding, how the economy is going to react to your products, how the market's going to react to your marketing effect, how the market's going to react to the goods and services you're providing, and still trying to develop a process. Transition to the second stage, we call that the operator phase. You're beyond that. Now you're graduating to this. I understand my product. I understand my market. I understand how to have these processes in place. Now it's time to really grow. And this tier 2 client that we're talking about, stage 2 client, is there to really trying to understand how to make money and keep it and manage the expenses. That stage is sort of like going into the next stage of life for a lot of couples. You've graduated from college, you've gone past that. Now you want to find somebody to share life with. You want to find somebody that you can actually grow on, establishing, building a family and a future together. It's a lot like a couple coming together and starting a family. We call that the operator stage or tier 2. In that, as we're looking at it, you're thinking about building teams. You're also the player and the coach at the same time. You'll see that with some NFL or NBA teams where you have a player and coach that's out there. But you're thinking of budgets, OKRs, objective and key resources, managing by metrics. You're learning how to what we call operationalize your business. It's turning it into something that becomes somewhat of a science of being a business operator. The next side of that is developing your team, recruiting and training that team to help you become a very competitive force in your industry. You're developing the next generation of leaders behind you, and at the same time working on systems and processes that you can duplicate as you expand your business. The third phase is what we call the CEO phase. You've learned how to grow your business. This is the phase where, if I keep with the analogy of the fresh college graduate, then getting married and starting a family, now you're at the stage where you've had kids. Now your kids are going to go to college. Well, you want to build that up, and it takes money to sustain the family. It takes money to pay for college. It takes money to pay for all these things where you're really looking to be that CEO. You're looking at, what do I do with my business? Now, this is where we want to be very strategic and intentional in our decisions. When you're thinking about strategy and tactics, you're talking about mission, vision, and values. You're getting this business, and the goal is that you want this business to be able to run in your absence. The business can run without you and other key leaders that you have. But you're really focusing on developing what we're calling culture. To do that, culture becomes a series of habits. And one great book that's out there that I like to look at is called Atomic Habits, developing habits that create that culture. Finally, the last stage is the ownership stage. This is after you've already had that business. What do I do with this? Now, what becomes my legacy with this business? And keeping with the analogy, you're looking at it being that fourth phase in life where, okay, I've got my business. My kids have come back. They've already gone out. They're at that founder stage in their own life, in their own business, and where they want to go. What am I going to do with this business that's supported my family for all these years? This is probably the most important stage of a business life cycle. And this is, I've spent my life. This business has supported my culture and my family. This business has created a good way of life for me and my family. I don't want to just turn the open sign into an off sign. I want to be able to have that become something that's of value. The business has a good tangible value to it. And this is where we spend a lot of time with many of our clients thinking about succession or thinking about that exit plan. And I'll tell you one comment about exit planning. It's going to happen regardless if you plan for it or not. There is going to be a time where you exit your business. And the best way I can say to do that is be prepared for that day. Don't just close that business. Don't just sell the assets to it. Look at it and find a way to have it be there for a continuation or be able to extract value. One of the biggest lessons learned that I've had when it comes to exit planning is from a client that I've had for a long time. He says, Tom, that's somewhat of a selfish way of looking at exit planning, is to think that it's my decision as a business to sell it. It's really, I need to consult with my family and have them look at it. And he made this scenario where you look at that as sort of having a cow for the family. If that cow is still giving milk, no, you want to keep that for the next generation and let them decide of it. It's estate planning. Involve that second generation or that third generation in that exit plan. They may want to keep the business. They may not want to keep it, but that's something that you want to have the option to do. And if you manage your business appropriately, you're going to have that as a look and a viewpoint for that time frame. And when it comes time to have that business. Think about return on investment. All the investment that you've given in time, money, and blood, sweat, and tears, what's that investment that's there? That business has a value to it. What is the value of your business? Well, our team here at the SBDC has been spending a lot of time working on helping businesses evaluate themselves and understanding what that bottom line is compared to the top line, and growing that scenario to increase what we call the variable of EBITDA. That bottom line net worth value, we want to help business owners increase the value of that. The big goal is to hit $10 million in revenue and be able to retain 10%. Well, that's a pretty big achievement. But if we can take that bottom line and increase that to 12%, the variable for the value of the business goes up. If we can increase it to 15%, it goes up even more, almost twice the amount when you look to sell that business. This is what we call as that exit plan, or more importantly, that succession plan, as we come to try to develop that exit strategy for stage 4 in business. I'm looking at this scenario today to have you understand it being an intentional journey for you with your business, and being able to understand that there are four distinct different stages of your business, but have it be an intentional journey. And this is part of the strategy that we want to have together with our clients, to be able to understand that strategical journey is something we can do intentional. And the cool thing about it, if you do it right, you can involve your team. You can develop a culture. You can develop a cooperative mindset that's there, that your business would actually have, an exit plan for the employees in the business. There's ESOPs, employee stock option plans, that are there. There are cooperative models where your team could actually buy the business from the owner. Lots of different things that are there for passing on generational wealth to your family, to your generational of employees, whatever that might be. The idea is, it's your legacy. What do you want to do with it? And if you're intentional about it, you can have a great future for everybody that are the stakeholders in your business.